Hello, my name is Chris Shea. I'm a financial advisor with BPS Financial Services, and this presentation is on Fit to Retire, which is something that people usually don't think about. What does it mean to be fit to retire? Well, we're going to dive into that. First off, who am I? My name is Chris Shea. Again, I'm a financial advisor with BPS Financial Services. I'm a financial planning and implementation partner with my clients, so I help them to plan their future and then implement it, whatever they may need. I've introduced myself. We're going to go over the agenda and ground rules. Essentially, learn, listen, and ask questions. Those are the ground rules. You can reach out to me via message and give me some of your questions. I'll be able to get back to you. So, what do you know or want to learn about being fit to retire? So the agenda is pretty basic, pretty straightforward. We're going to go over a definition of what does it mean to be fit to retire. We're going to look at the 3 seasons of retirement. Yes, there are seasons of retirement. We're going to look at the 5 different areas for retirement success. Wait, there's more than just money in finance? Yeah, there's more than just money in your success in retirement. And then we'll discuss what the process is that I utilize to make sure that you are fit to retire. So let's jump into it. What does fit to retire? What does it really mean? Well, you got to answer some questions first. What's your level of enthusiasm to retire? Do you want to retire as soon as you possibly can? Or do you love your work and you never really want to retire? Or do you like being busy and active, but you don't love your job and you want to do something else? You got to figure out what your level of enthusiasm is. Are you prepared to retire? And we'll get into that in terms of not just your finances, but the 4 areas that we'll talk about in just a moment. I talked about the 3 seasons. Do you have plans for your go-go, your slow-go, and your no-go? Those are the 3 seasons: go-go, slow-go, no-go. What do you plan to do in each one of those? Please don't just plan on becoming a couch potato. That's a pretty not good way to enjoy your retirement. You spent years to enjoy yourself. Get out there and enjoy yourself. And I mentioned earlier, are you prepared? Well, those areas are health and nutrition, self-identity, social, personal relationships, in addition to the finances. There's 5 areas. So again, health and nutrition, self-identity, social, personal relationships, and financial. The last one we mentioned is financial because it just pays for everything else. If you haven't planned anything to do, having all the money in the bank may feel great, but you got to do something. So again, we've got the 3 seasons of retirement: the go-go, slow-go, and no-go. What is the go-go? Aside from a band from the 1980s, it's the go-go years, 65 to 75-ish. And this is where you're out and you're going and you're doing. All those trips that you said you'd do in retirement, this is what you do. Social events, parties, gathering, buying a boat, buying a camper, dining out to dinner at all these restaurants you always wanted to go to because you no longer have some of the expenses of travel and things like that, to and from work, that is. Whatever else you want to do, it's your time to go, go, go. Get out there, do it, enjoy your retirement. Because it's not always going to be go-go. You are going to go into the slow-go years. And this is 75 to 85 again-ish. You may still be active. You may have social events. Your travel may slow down a little bit. And other things, going out to dinner as regularly, may start to decline. This is a normal thing. I use an example, my grandparents. My grandparents retired and they drove from Massachusetts to Florida every single year for about 8 years. And then the 2-day trip became a 3-day trip, became a 4-day trip, became a 5-day trip. And then they stopped going because they didn't want to fly, because that involved renting a car and learning how to drive a new car. and they didn't want to do that. So their trips to Florida pretty much ended because they couldn't get down there. They went from the go-go to the slow-go and then to the no-go pretty quickly. Then the go-go, no-go, the no-go years, 85 plus ish. And again, depends on your health, right? But it could be, this is where you surround yourselves with family and friends, and things are more face-to-face. People come to you. People pick you up and take you to the family events. You're not getting out and doing it yourself. A lot more interactions with people more coming to you than you going to them. So those are 3 seasons of retirement. Then the 5 areas of retirement success: self-identity, social, health and nutrition, personal relationships, financial. We'll start with what I think is the most important one, self-identity. You've worked for 40, 50 years. Whenever you've gone to a cocktail party or hang out with people, they'll ask, so tell me about yourself. What do you do is one of the first questions that get asked. Try going to a social event in the future and describing yourself without talking about your job. You're going to find it's a little challenging because that's what we do as Americans. And other countries do it as well. We talk about ourselves through our jobs. I'm an engineer. I'm a financial advisor. I personally started introducing myself as a father and as someone who likes to go sailing. I'm starting to restructure my self-identity. I'm not just a financial advisor. I'm more than that. Social. What are you going to go out and do? Are you going to go out and see live bands and music? It's one of the things I like to do. Are you going to go to bridge parties? Are you going to go to card games? Are you going to go to movies? Are you going to be part of festivals? Are you going to, lots of choices, figure out how you want to be social. One of the big questions that comes up is, how does that differ from personal relationships? The personal relationships are your close personal relationships, significant others, spouses, kids, grandkids. Those are your close personal relationships, your best friends, very close. Those are people you talk to on a regular basis. How are you going to interact with them? One of the things that was talked about before the pandemic was, we're going to retire and we're going to spend 24/7 with each other. That's all we're going to do. Found out in the pandemic that if you spend 24 hours a day with someone, you're going to go absolutely crazy for the most part. You need me time and we time. Figure out what that me time and we time is going to be so that you can have those personal relationships last a lot longer. Health and nutrition. Lots of people are on medication. Some of it's related to conditions through their family. Some of it's due to their nutrition. Take care of yourself. You'll last longer. Put better food in your body. Learn about that. You'll improve your health and nutrition. Financial security, obviously that's going to pay for all this stuff, but you've got to figure out what you want to do before you figure out how much money you need. So the financial security ties in with the other 4 as a method to pay for it. So now we're going to delve into it a little bit more and go through it. Again, self-identity, we talked about when you're working, to find who you were for a living. Now's the time for you to be able to redefine who you are and rewrite that answer of who I am. Who am I? One of the things I like to do in these presentations is bring up statistics from people that have actually done studies. So the National Institute on Aging, they do studies all the time. And they found that people involved with social and leisure activities or with hobbies may live longer and lower their risk for health problems, including dementia. Get out, be active, don't hibernate. Go and find out who you are and go do it. Studies show it helps you. Social. If you ask people who've retired, a lot of their friends are from the office. And where's their social life? From the office. So after they retire, they're looking to have lunch with people or dinner, and people are busy working and they can't make it. Think about all the people you know that are retired. Might have asked you to go out and you can't because you're working. It's common, especially if you leave a large company. But this is a time to reconnect with old friends, make new friends, go to meetup groups. There's a lot of social activities out there, Facebook groups. Find a group, go out and do it, and enjoy yourself. And again, we're going to talk about studies from this time University of California. Nearly 25% of seniors feel isolated and happy, also report declines in ability to perform their daily activities. But if they don't experience loneliness, it's only 12.5% have a decline in handling their daily activities. That's 50% improvement. That's a big deal. Go out, be social, be happy, find something that makes you light up, and you will have a much better retirement. You'll be more fit to retire. Health and nutrition. Someone wiser than myself once said, real wealth is good health. When you worked, you maybe didn't have a chance to go to the gym every day or get good nutrition because you're on the go and you're snarfing food down in between meetings and you weren't taking as good care of yourself. But now in retirement, you don't have to go to the office. You got more time. What are you going to do? Focus on your health, eat better, buy better foods. Don't buy as much of the junk foods. This can also help to reduce your future healthcare expenses. Take care of your body, you'll be in better shape. Mayo Clinic. Again, people who exercise regularly report decreased rates in depression, lowered pain, and they have less anxiety. Get out, be active. Not saying go skydiving, not saying go mountain rock climbing, but go for hikes, go for walks. Be physically active. Then personal relationships. Again, we talked about this a little bit, but change happens when you stop working, right? Couples get together and the person who's been working out of the house for 40 years, and maybe someone's been in the house for a little bit of time and they feel it's their domain, all of a sudden now there's an intrusion. And that together time causes friction. You need that together time. You need that we time, but you also need the me time. Make sure that you talk to your significant others and figure out what that's going to look like. Right? Again, the studies show, Harvard Women's Health Watch, satisfying relationships, happier, fewer health problems, live longer. No social ties, depression, cognitive decline, premature death. You worked 40 years to retire and enjoy yourself. Please take the steps to get better at these types of things to live the life you want to in retirement. It's your life, live it the way you want to. So what's the process? We have an assessment. The first thing you want to do is take the assessment. It takes people usually 10 to 15 minutes at the most. You'll get some results. What I'll do is I'll schedule a meeting to go over the assessment results, talk with you about them, see your readiness and preparedness in the 5 areas. Again, self-identity, social, health, nutrition, personal relationships, and finances. Then if you're curious about the process and you want to go through, we'll schedule a second meeting where I'll bring a couple of bigger documents that I've worked on that help you to prepare for that retirement. There's a pre-retirement checklist. I refer to this as the unfun checklist because this involves Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security talks, discussion about your retirement money, tax implications, all that stuff that everyone has to do, but if you can figure out a way, you usually push it off for a while. That's that. Then the other document is the 100-day playbook. And this I call the fun one, because this is where you're able to line up what you want to do in the first 100 days of retirement and actually have a plan. So the day that you retire, everyone throws that big party for you and you walk off into the sunset. You're not walking into the sunset. You're walking into the next phase of what you want to do and what you want to accomplish. And you've got a plan laid out so that you're able to do what you want, when you want, with no concern about how much money you're making. That sounds like a wonderful retirement to me. And then once we figure kind of out what those things are, I've got a transitional marketplace that can help you in some of those areas, whether it be self-identity, personal relationships, health and nutrition. I've got people that I know that I can refer you to, and you can have conversations with 1 or 2 or 3 different people to figure out the one that wants to help you get what you want in retirement. You spent a number of years learning your trade and your craft to get a job. Why don't you spend time and effort to get into retirement? Get yourself ready, get prepared. Hopefully, you've learned that there's more to retirement than just stop going to work and retiring. You got to be prepared for it. Hopefully, you have some questions. Feel free to reach out to them with me. And hopefully, if you got some tips for me, I'd love to hear from you about some evaluation points on this. But ultimately, I hope that you have some of the tools to help you get fit to retire, and that you'll be able to make it so you didn't spend 40 years to do nothing. You spent 40 years to live your life. Again, Chris Shea with BPS Financial Services, hoping to help you become more fit to retire.